alert. Anyways, I cut it off early because, well, it just so happens we are jumping into our other series here. They got started a little bit sooner than expected. But now, as you may notice, it's not the series that we said we would probably be covering. We are going to be covering here Solaire Club versus Team Grief. A great series here. Looking forward to it. The other series, Bad Monkey Gaming versus We Are Russ, I believe that's the name. Anyways. Mira Russ. Anyways, point is, apparently they're going to be forfeiting. Mira Russ, that is from the sound of it. So BMG going to be advancing on there. So, well, we only got one series to choose from, but a good series at that. So excited still to be here nonetheless, and definitely looking forward to a good best of three. So as you can see, we are already developed into this draft. Joined by Znui once again as my co-caster. And, I mean, this should be fun. Really, these two matches here, I mean, we could have really casted either one. Both would have definitely been entertaining, I think, in the end. And so, hey, the fact that we get to cast this one, I'm not too disappointed in by any means. We get a good matchup here. So, especially, again, Team Grief, they're one of these teams, star power team, with even DreamHack experience. Will that translate into a qualifying victory? Well, we'll see starting here. What do you think, Snooey? Do you think that they got a chance here this qualifier?
On paper, they definitely should be able to qualify to DreamHack. I mean, if you're the world champions, then placing into the top 5 shouldn't be too much of an issue. But yeah, one roster change. Oh, wait, now I'm talking about the BMG game. Still caught up in that one. This is Team Grief versus Sun. Yeah, I think they have a, just swapping mindset to Team Grief. Yeah, definitely. They are my favorite for this qualifier. To take it home.
Okay.
Normally, I would give my vote to Recent Gaming because they have been looking strong. They made it to the finals in Qualifier 1 and Qualifier 3. But as Quincy also pointed out earlier today, they are playing with a ringer today, and I know for a fact that that's going to happen tomorrow as well. Only their mid-initiator won't be taking part this weekend, and I think that's coming down to hurt them. So in a matchup versus Team Grief, if those two teams were to make it to the finals, which is my prediction, I would say that Team Grief is probably going to come out on top.
Okay, no, that's a good insight right there, definitely. I mean, especially with that roster issue kicking in for Reason, yeah, that could be very possible. Again, a team here in Team Grief that clearly has some top-tier players. Now, whether or not that translates into working out well here in the game and execution, obviously you have to wait and see. We have seen some good signs of them here in this last weekend here especially, but we'll see how they fare here against a solid team in Solaire Club. Solaire Club just officially getting knocked out of the Deadeye Bounty League, but again, they've been a team that's been competing at the top tier for a bit themselves. So with that said, let's start talking about the actual draft that's going on here. Has only one more band to happen. The picks were Warbeast, Parasite, and Gauntlet over here for Team Grief. You had Midas, Behemoth, and Tempest coming out for Solaire Club, but Gauntlet coming out. Super KG, baby. We get to see the hooking play. God at his finest.
It is a signature hero of his, yes, that is true. And I've seen them practicing it a little bit in scrims as well, so definitely going to be fun to see how this plays out. But I'm surprised that the Hellborn team actually chooses to go with Tempest. I know that Noob loves this hero just to pick up the early ring of the Sorcery and or Astro, sometimes even skipping out on the Red Marchers and just going for that early aggression. But I mean, Gauntlet and Parasite both able to very easily cancel the Tempest ultimate through that BKB. So might not have been the optimal force hero in the end. Wow, Oogie.
Okay.
This screams way too much defensive to me though, the Hellborn lineup. Tempest, Behemoth, Midas, Oogie. This is most likely going to be a Behemoth in yeah, possibly the Suicide role. Army of Mums likes that hero. So, but still, I mean, they're going to depend on so much farm. I mean, Midas kind of needs some kind of setups done. And, I mean, they have the Behemoth Fisher, but if he's not going to get that early portal key, which I'm sure he's not, seeing as he's in the Suicide role, then it's going to be hard for Midas to get kills on his own. And Oogie doesn't necessarily provide in a lockdown. And the Tempest, as we mentioned, is going to have troubles placing his ultimates in this game as well. So, as of for right now, I would definitely favor the Legion draft.
Yeah, Oogie, Nullstone Gaming, definitely the team that comes to mind. Of course, the most recent team to qualify for DreamHack here. In other hands, though, we'll see Solaire Club, how they work with the Oogie. But Soul Stealer coming out over here for Team Grief. That just seems like such a comfortable hero for Hackstrin as well, and what he loves to play. So, yeah, definitely a lot of comfort factor coming out here for this Legion side. So, well, I was going to say, we'll see how they finish. Probably AoE Synergy Escuro. Glacius definitely fits that role. So, hey, they're going for the Wombo combo here on the Hellborn side. That is for sure, you know, with some good carry in Oogie, no doubt. But, yeah, as you're pointing out, maybe a little too defensive, excuse me, a little too greedy even on their side. But, well, we have our lineups now. So did it shape up as you're kind of getting at there? Do you still feel Solaire Club's lineup maybe a little too defensive here?
Yeah, I feel like Legion team is going to run over them. I don't want to call it too soon, but I just feel like it's going to be like 50 minutes. Just looking at the drafts, Soul Stealer is going to be as a result because they know for a fact that Behemoth is going to be in that suicide lane, and Soul Stealer crushes anyone 1v1, especially if it's versus a melee hero. So Rhapsody is not even going to be needed or stationed down at the safe lane. He's just going to be able to be in the mid lane instead versus the Gauntlet, so they can secure the farm on Parasite, Gauntlet, and Soul Stealer. And Hellborn is picking up a Glacius, and he is up versus a Suicide Warbeast, which means that he can literally do nothing to outbox the Suicide Warbeast. He can just pull over and over. The Glacius is not going to be able to deal with him, so he's going to have to transition into the mid more or less. It's better to just let Oogie 1v1 the Warbeast. And that means that there's going to be Midas and Glacius in the mid. And yeah, I'm not sure if that's going to be able to beat a Gauntlet and a Rhapsody. Glacius is going to be too squishy. If he gets stunned by the Staccato, it doesn't even matter at what range, then Gauntlet is going to secure the hook, and Midas can do nothing. He can just watch Glacius melt.
Yeah. So
yeah.
What support hero would you say would actually be good against a Warbeast?
Nothing.
Comes to mind. I mean, okay, just nothing at all. Like, I guess
you
not.
should just go for, as soon as you see this, Warbeast was first picked, so he's usually, or actually Parasite was even second picked, so you knew for sure after 2 picks that Parasite was going to be in the forest and Warbeast was going to be in the suicide lane. Just let Oogie do the 1v1. Don't pick up like a Glacius in this point. Just aim for that dual mid as soon as you see the Warbeast Parasite coming out, because you know that Parasite is looking to be active early on as well, indicating that they all want to keep pressure onto the mid, and therefore it's much better to have 2 heroes in the mid than just 1.
Okay. All right, well, yeah, we'll see how that fares out for them, and if they choose to send the Glacius up there or not. We'll maybe take your advice on just leaving the Oogie up there solo and perhaps sending Glacius to either roam or... could they send Glacius, like, could they do like an aggressive dual lane, or would that be too risky, you think?
Yeah, it wouldn't work. They can just transition to Rhapsody down there, and Soul Stealer or Rhapsody would just run over Behemoth and Glacius, especially now when Behemoth got Marchers as well as your first item. There's just no way.
Yeah. Okay.
This is an interesting fact as well. I mean, if you're Rhapsody and Glacius, if they were to go to up against each other, obviously in level 1, Rhapsody is just going to melt the Glacius because of how well Rhapsody can take that physical armor or take the physical damage in early levels. But in level 7, for example, if Rhapsody is down to like 15% HP and he's going up versus Glacius, Rhapsody would still win it. There's just no way the Glacius can go up versus Rhapsody as long as the Dance Floor is on top and the Staccato. There's literally nothing Glacius can do. Yeah. So it's that big of a deal. This is how easily Rhapsody beats the Glacius.
Okay. Well, Rhapsody initially kind of in the middle lane. I don't know if he's maybe trying to protect these camps. They're thinking that they may be trying to block them with parasites, or if he's
very
actually...
nice use up there, by the way.
Yeah.
Top lane. Just saying, they took it on the Warbeast Wolves straight off.
Okay. Yeah.
That's well played by them. And no camp is blocked either for Tempest. Okay, the hard camp is blocked, but that's not going to matter. Tempest is not going to transition into that side of the forest this early on either way. So still a little bit positive signs here for Hellborn.
Well, look at what they decided to do, though. Rhapsody actually ends up middle. It seemed like he was maybe going to be heading bottom, but no, he turned around and ended up middle, and he did a lot of damage onto Midas off the bat. But what do you think of this decision to actually send Rhapsody middle instead?
Yeah, I spoke about this a bit earlier as well, that, I mean, Soul Stealer is just so dominant in those 1v1 situation versus other melee heroes. There's nothing the Behemoth can do. I think that's the reason, or sole reason, for why they picked Soul Stealer in this particular game. And just now they can secure farm on 2 lanes, and the Warbeast is going to get his share or fair amount of farm up at the top lane as well, I would assume, if he's managing to make another pull happen in the near future. So 3 lanes looking to be relatively good setup here by Legion side.
You got Blood Chalice finished early on Parasite, of course. Not too surprising there, especially after the change. So getting that picked up. But yeah, early farm for Gauntlet also looking pretty damn good because of this matchup. 6-2, Midas 3-0. And obviously so very early on in the game. Getting that last hit right there. But Midas does have to be careful. Obviously getting hooked in now. Does have an escape, but it's not going to be easy at the same time. The staccato stunts can cause issues. So getting a hook off could definitely result in a kill. I mean, you look at Midas's build, too. He actually didn't go the Gauntlets of Strength. He actually ended up going the Pretender's Crown into 4 minor totems here. So not as tanky as he could have been, perhaps, as we've seen before, but still pretty tanky. With that said, illusion rune control there by Rhapsody. Actually picks a couple of them up, sends them towards the jungle. Going to get some information, but the real one will head back to the middle lane, and you see going toe-to-toe with Midas right away right there. But yeah, Parasite also doing a good job of counter-warding right here against Behemoth. So now Behemoth is going to have to really keep guessing in terms of is he in trouble or not. And that should free up that much more for Haxor in playing the SolC. Once again, he loves playing this hero. He has a lot of history with it. So not surprised to see him on it. Warbeast, he's pushing in the bottom lane quite a bit. Only 2 creep kills, but again, trying to get the levels, that's what's really important. Does hit level 3 right there. And we'll see how that progresses. But I think it's a very safe assumption that don't expect a whole lot of action to break out in this game early on.
No, definitely not.
Where we're at here.
Glacius is gonna start dealing some damage to Warbeast. I'm not sure what he's trying to accomplish though. He should just keep this farm or this time stacking instead. Either that or transition to the mid and just try to get some experience. He's not really winning anything on boxing out the Warbeast at this point. I mean, the lane is not even about to push. There's no reason for him to be up here.
Yeah. But again, so middle, I guess you want to see a middle?
I mean, it's better that he's middle, or at least stacking actions or something for Ugi. He's one of those heroes that can take it early on, combined with the Magnus, or I mean, combined with the Midas combo. It should be possible. So I'd rather see him transition into that and just prepare a little bit more for after the laning phase ends.
That was actually a pretty good play by Glacius right there. A little bit of misplay at the same time by Labyrinth. Glacius actually froze one of the Hellhounds, and it actually, ultimately killed it, and the creep wave then started to go back because Warbeast was still pulling the other Hellhound, but it didn't have the aggro. So that's where the little bit of the misplay kind of came in. But Glacius ultimately does stop the creep pull from happening. And it goes back into the lane. You see right here, actually, they're going to try for a kill even. Thunder Blast comes out. Oogie doesn't have the most mana, though, so I don't know what they're expecting right here. Yeah, Glacius is the one that needs to be careful to set in. As he's taking a good auto attack, finally gets the freeze off, though. He is going to get the Bloodlust kill. Cannondor specifically on Oogie gets it. As Glacius, the Hellhounds, I don't think it's going to be enough. They will have to fall back. But yeah, that was pretty risky considering Oogie didn't have the most mana right there. But Rhapsody comes in and gets the flank onto the Forgotten. And eventually gets a counter cut. At least middle end in the meantime, still action as well. Gauntlet, he's being collapsed on by 3 different heroes. Oh, he tries to hook backwards. Beautiful job, though, by Behemoth. He expected that to happen, and he was correct as he sidesteps it. So, well, big picture, I guess Solaire Club coming out on top there, 2-1.
Well played by Solaire Club. Yeah, I love those early rotations. Looking at them, or looking at the draft on paper, it doesn't look like they can pull off those kind of early aggression ganks, but showing right there that the Behemoth, Legion not having a lane ward or a rune ward down at the bottom allows Behemoth to get that kill off in the mid. And, yeah, well played by them. That first blood onto Warbeast as well is going to mean a lot when it comes to the Oogie versus SolC war in just GPM.
Knowing that you're going up against Oogie especially, and as usual with Oogie, I mean, it's just a lot of magic damage all throughout the game. If you're Soul Stealer here, when do you get that Shrunken Head? Is that really even like a first item, you think, almost? Or can you at least get like a Portal Key or what else?
I think it's going to shape up depending on how well Gauntlet is going to be able to farm here in mid lane. If he gets picked up one more time, then I wouldn't say that he should go for Portal Key as the first item. Knowing as it hacks run, I know that he loves to pick up the Mighty Brand. To just not necessarily finish up the BKB, but just get that one Mighty Brand for the survivability stats. So very likely that might happen. Yeah. Like Mighty Brand into Portal Key.
Midas got picked up there in the middle end. I missed that action, I apologize. But Rhapsody eventually getting credit for the kill. Of course, Super KG, big assistance there with the damage as well. So good find onto the Midas, and Rhapsody even heading back towards the middle lane. There was a rune bottom, but Glacius ended up killing it before Rhapsody could get to it. There was just a refreshment rune, though. The top rune, Illusions. Rhapsody is the one that with the bottle. He doesn't head up there, though. Again, they are blind as far as no wards or anything, so he doesn't feel necessarily too safe doing it, apparently. Or maybe even figuring it's already picked up, but no, it is still there, and he's going to check, and Rhapsody actually right for that. But as soon as he leaves, Gauntlet, he gets gone on right here. Skeleton King is in. Nice job with the ulti, though. Is it going to be enough to ultimately get away is the question. No, it will not. Elemental War finishes him off, and now Parasite needs to be careful as
Massera he's going to go down.
Overseeing as well. Can we think so? Ooh, Fissure block on the wrong side. Will it matter? Probably not. He still goes down. So yeah, 4 players end up there for Solaire Club. And they get 2 kills out of it.
That's not good news for the Legion side. Super KG wants that early farm on this gauntlet so that he can start that snowball kind of phase. But yeah, as for now, I mean, New, as I mentioned as well during the draft, he loves to be aggressive early on, and so far he hasn't picked up those red marchers, so potentially even going for the Astro before he does so. Putting some nice pressure here on tier 1 tower in the mid. If they can get this tower, I mean, that's like enormous.
Do you think the Astrolabe this game on Tempest makes the most? So we haven't seen a lot of Tempest go in the portal key first once again lately. Think you should get the Astrolabe?
Astro. Yeah, it's going to be the Astro. They are just so defensive. As long as they can farm out the portal key on Behemoth, which is, by the way, not too far away. I mean, 1k, sure, but at this point, that's quite impressive by Army Mums. So credits for him, definitely. But no, this is going to be Astro, because as long as the Hellborn team can survive the early aggression coming out from Parasite and the Super KG on the Gauntlet, then they're going to be in good shape.
Manitube purchased by Haxerin. So we did see this recently. We kind of talked a little bit about it. The Storm Spirit build, I think, could be possible on SolC. Well, so apparently this is like a Dota thing, where it's the idea. We actually saw it on Thursday as well. You get a Storm Spirit, and you actually throw them in the air, and it basically times up with your ultimate perfectly. You channel your ultimate as they're in the air, and then it pretty much guarantees your ulti to do maximum damage. Now, he buys a Sustainer, so never mind. I was getting ahead of myself. He's going to Nullstone.
That it does, but I know it's a Dota thing as well, but that's usually something that's picked up a little bit later onto the game, at least in Heroes of New Earth.
Okay, so yeah, had a little ahead of myself right there, but yeah, he does. He does good
yeah,
but even that,
good point.
Even Nullstone though, I mean, that's not your typical first item on SolC.
Definitely not. I'm not sure why he's looking to go for Nullstone either. There's nothing real that stands out from the Hellborn team that screams single target spells.
Huh. Yeah.
Absolutely nothing. I don't get it.
Yeah, because like Oogie is like the big factor, but yeah, he doesn't even have a single target. You got Glacius and then Tempest with the stun, but yeah, it doesn't seem like Nullstone's going to be doing a whole lot of protection here. In that case, top lane though, the Invis Gauntlet, that was huge. You get the kill onto Tempest. I want to say it feels like they actually could have gotten Oogie as well. They went just really aggressive on that Tempest, and I mean, hey, they get the one kill, so I can't be too complaining. But a lot of TPs happened at the same time, so spent a good amount of resources to make that happen in the end. But hey, they got the Tempest kill, and they protect the tower on top of that. So protecting a top tower from being pushed in early on, not often we see that by teams.
SolC was porting in though, and he wasn't really needed in the end to secure the kill. So, but he's going to make that time valued now, at least taking this tri-stack action. So it's good that they have that stacked up. Otherwise, he would have lost a lot of time or a lot of gold running back all the way to the bottom lane.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, has a triple stack, so there you go. The Demon Hand's coming out, and now you see, though, especially having the double Dragon Master spawn, that's not the friendliest for those Demon Hands. So it's not going to be the quickest triple stack kill by any means, but eventually is going to kill them off. And that GPM does go up there. 440 gold per minute now. About 460 is where it'll end up or so. So Rhapsody even took the last one. But top tower goes down in the meantime while they were busy killing off the Ancient. So the eventual mission of killing the top tower is successfully accomplished there by this Hellborn side. And Oogie, by the way.
I can't believe that the Hellborn team is actually the ones putting up all the aggression, and Legion team just staying back. I mean, Parasite has literally been a non-factor the entire game, so has Gauntlet. They haven't been able to accomplish anything with those aggressive dual lanes in the mid. Not sure what's going to happen now. I mean, if Behemoth hits his pole key mark, which he is after this tower in the mid, if the Legion team lets go of it, then, I mean, one ultimate, I mean, he can almost solo kill SolC at this point, seeing as he went for that Nullstone build.
Yeah, another tower push right there. So this grouping up and pushing, working pretty well. You got an Oogie who we have seen many times before. Now this is a very dangerous carry hero for sure, especially if he starts to snowball. Again, Beaverbanger of Nullstone, most iconic with it on the scene. And we'll see how Cannondorf does here for Solaire Club. Portal Key, though, picked up on Behemoth. There we go. Has that with the Striders. But again, it goes back to why another reason why he's just such a good hero for this is he doesn't need a whole lot of other items. You give him that Portal Key, and he's able to do plenty with it. And again, remember, we saw Mickey on Thursday, actually. Speaking of Solaire Club, they went up against Mickey's Behemoth a couple of games, including that fun one there, the final game, where Mickey actually went a Rune Cleaver into Assassin Shroud and Rift Shards, and boy, was that fun to watch. But basically showing off the new Enrage and how powerful it is now. But even if you don't go damage build, it's nice to go the top lane on a Warbeast. Even if you don't go that damage build, though, it's crazy how much more damage you're able to do now because of that buff with the Enrage. So another reason to pick up Behemoth. But yeah, nice going to Warbeast at the top lane. They take him out up there.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of carry Behemoth in team matchmaking lately, so I wouldn't be too surprised if it actually comes to a time where you see him in the safe lane farming.
Oh, nice jump right there, using the portal key. Tempest is able to get there in time. You see the Skeleton King from Parasite, though. SolC, he gets pulled in, though. The Elemental Void will guarantee it, but now Behemoth in trouble, but it's not enough for the counter kill. They couldn't finish him off. The Elemental Void doing work right there, and he is going to be able to TP away, so very good execution. Meanwhile, top lane, though, Oogie, is he actually going to live? He is. They did not want to chase. They kept getting blocked right there by the creep. So Oogie barely survives on top of it as well. So that's a great swing in favor of Solaire Club. What just happened there?
The biggest thing is that as long as they don't keep or let Gauntlet and Parasite reach that snowball state, then they're looking really good when it comes to the late game. I don't think the Tempest necessarily is going to have too much of an impact in the late game, seeing as he is easily countered by the Parasite and the Gauntlet going through the BKB. But still, I mean, their team fight is still very impressive, and it hits level 11 on to Behemoth, and they got something really good going for them. It's going to be hard for the Legion team to push, no matter what point of the game this is going to be.
Midas just doing the triple stack Ancients right here for the team. Behemoth coming over to assist on top of that, but yeah, Oogie back to the top side, that Icon of the Goddess being finished. Now, again, Beaverbanger, I believe Icon's what he likes to do too, but I think actually maybe he even goes at first. The Gnome's Wisdom is what he likes to do, and you know, he does have the Ring of the Teacher, so wouldn't be surprised if Cannon Dwarf goes that similar build. Would that make sense?
Yeah, seeing as they are grouping up a lot and they got a team fight going for them, then that would definitely be a good pickup for their team.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye on that. Oh, look at Parasite, by the way, going to Codex. The Blood Chalice into a straight-up Codex, no Lex or anything.
I guess he wants to synergize it with the Hellhounds, the Invis factor early on, and he's going to get a kill out of it for straight away. So, yeah, it pays off.
There you go.
At that, but in general, I don't think that was the best way to go at this.
Yeah.
I think the Puzzle Box would have made more sense.
Well, now it's the question of will he level it, or will he kind of just let that sit on the level 1 now? But you are right. Again, we kind of saw that right there. The synergy is actually pretty good with the Hellhound. It's basically a free invis, and he's going to use with another one right here. You see, he sends the dog over and picks it up. So, yeah, he got a kill right away with it. So we'll keep an eye on how he manages to continue to perform with it. Oh, he finds Loki.
He's not going to be able to get the kill though. His ultimate is still on cooldown. Not quite sure how long the Codex cooldown is. It's 40 seconds. Yeah, so he shouldn't have it up quite yet either. Okay, maybe it's up now. But yeah, not going to find another kill. He needs to be careful as well. When you're sitting in those Hellhounds, it's easy to forget that you know, they actually despawn or disappear after a certain amount of time. Or if Warbeasts, for example, were to spawn new ones. I don't know if this one now. Maybe not. Can he sit in that Hellhound forever?
I don't know.
Disappear?
That's a good question. Well, he actually came out of it right there, and then Warbeast used his Q, so something tells me it does disappear. I think you're right, because they just kind of coordinated that right there. So,
but if Warbeast were to use summon 2 new wolves while Parasite is inside, then it shouldn't despawn Parasite's creep at least.
I don't know.
That can't be the case. Because that would be like, we're talking about the Parasite is also a good hero to pick when you're up versus a Warbeast.
That's true.
That would make no sense in that case.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know, though. I don't know, then. This ward aside, by the way, I'm pretty sure it saw them doing that, so you could tell Solaire Club almost wants them to jump them right here. Almost baiting it out, but that's not going to happen, at least just yet. They're still hanging around, though. They're really committed to trying to making a kill happen up here. At the top lane, and there we go. Shockwave initiation right off the bat. Rhapsody gets gone on. Warbeast, though, with his ulti farm. The Elemental Void pulls in. Parasite is going to be stopped as SolC joins the party, but he's out of mana right now for his ultimate, and he's going to try to go for the TP. Is it going to happen? Yes! Oh, it doesn't happen. They have too much damage in the end, and a 4-for-1 exchange. Tempest for the 4, and now the top tower push. So we knew that they were baiting it out right there, and eventually it does pay off. It works out right there in the end.
Big time, yes. I'm surprised that the Legion team actually committed to that. It felt like they could have just gotten out with the only casualty being the Rhapsody, but they went on the Tempest in the background, wasn't able to quite finish him off, and he got his Elemental Void up for like a few seconds, and that could secure his teammates to finish off the rest of the Legion team. So yeah, props to SolC for being very patient with that initiation.
Middle lane, Gauntlet. Yeah, he's going to be found right here. They just collapse on him and pick him off. Great job using the uphill advantage right there to just catch him as soon as right after TP. And look at this, triple stack Ancient's going to be stolen as well. Jeez, the momentum swing ridiculous here for SolC Club. That is big time. Yeah, look at the leads now. 4,500 gold lead, 4,000 experience. Look at Oogie as well. 530 gold per minute now. He did go the Gnome's Wisdom, of course. 8 charges on the Icon, and oh, by the way, another 2,200 gold saved up for him on top of that. So yeah, Shrunken Heads, I think, are looking pretty important here on the Legion side. Not only that, though, look at the lack of Mystic Vestments. There's nothing here on the Legion side.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
They
might want one those so far. Could be a good idea, yeah, to pick one up.
I don't see how you oversight that. Like,
I mean, especially on Haxren. I mean, going for no stone and not going to have that BKB for the first 25 minutes or so. Then a Mystic Vestment might not be too shabby of an idea. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, Glacius.
Well, they don't have it here. Glacius, he is going to be killed off at least, so good find there. Gauntlet did use his Gauntlet Blast to do so, but secures the kill. Parasite. I can't check it right now, but curious to see if that Codex again is being leveled up or not. He's scouting around with the Hellhound, seeing if he can find anybody for a kill. But instead he comes out and opens up to the Creepway right there. It is level 1 Codex still, so still not certain if what his plans are moving forward. Hasn't having the greatest farm to continue after a fairly good start, honestly, with his GPM, but bottom lane, Soul Stealer and Gauntlet are here. Gauntlet, of course, has that portal key. And actually has a Steam Staff. Okay, I would think that's going to be a Hellflower eventually. Because the thing that came to mind initially was maybe even the Sanitarius, but I thought about it. Oh, actually, probably the Hellflower.
Yeah, very likely. Yeah, it's safe to say that the strategy of Legions, or the execution of the draft, is certainly not working out as they were planning to. Oh wait, Ro8 gank incoming from the Hellborn team.
Going through the jungle. Gauntlet, he's going to fall victim to this most likely. No, he portal keys in time. Or was it in time? That Fisher's done a little bit awkward right there. Hurting themselves somewhat. You got SolC nearby, and the team is coming in. Gauntlet, though, can he even get anything off? He couldn't! He turned around a Gauntlet Blast, I believe, but he wasn't able to. And with that happening, now they definitely don't want to fight this. You see Behemoth is still kind of toying with him, but yeah, the big picture, that's how it'll end. But Gauntlet dead, and now they're going to group up and push in the bottom tower, it looks like. So SolC Club continuing to have it all come together. Man, on paper to have a little more of a passive lineup, they've actually been playing this pretty aggressive, and it's been working out for them.
Yeah, very well played so far. I'm impressed with how well they are balancing the offensive and the defensive. Even though they are a defensive team, I mean, they are making sure that, when they see an opportunity, they go for it. And so far, it's paid off big time. Now, 5-man Veiled Rot gank coming in, getting one pick off, and resulting in a tier 1 tower down here as well. It's going to force Soul Stealer to leave his own forest. And I'm not quite sure where he's going to look to go from here. I mean, the plan was originally the Gauntlet and Parasite was going to enable him to buy or to farm his own forest, while they were just rotating into the enemy forest and buying him time with pickoffs and all that kind of stuff. But now when Soul Stealer has been forced to, or now when the entire Legion team has been forced to just stay on their side, I mean, there's really no farm to get for Gauntlet and Parasite, and they're struggling as a result.
Yeah, Soul Stealer is picking off the rest of the Ancients right here. He will at least have a Shrunken Head. Again, that's really the crucial mark right now for this Legion team especially. They get the Shrunken Heads, and it could definitely have a significant impact. I mean, again, you look at the Hellborn side, it is all magic, lockdown as well as damage. Middle lane, though, Parasite does get picked off. He's found the portal key. Behemoth has proven to be very useful. It doesn't even look like that was even used right there, though. They just simply were
No,
able
it
to
was
catch
Word
him.
of Revelation.
Okay.
Finding a Hellhound coming in, so it was just nice heads up by Forgotten One playing Glaciers.
Yeah. And you see the Bound Dino in Tempest too. So they have ways
Like
to
that.
spot that, yeah.
I do think that if they were to reach that barrier idle stage or a state though with the Tempest, then it would pretty much be impossible for the Legion team to win a team fight. It would mitigate so much from the Sociator ultimate on top of things. I mean, especially now when a BKB is not necessarily needed for Tempest for his ultimate usage, it's going to be cancelled either way. Then we could potentially see a barrier idle on him.
Yeah. That would be interesting to see what direction Big Noob goes, whether or not he agrees there or not. But Kongor, it's being killed off in the meantime. Tempest, Behemoth, and Oogie especially leading the way with that. And even after this Kongor kill, not only are they going to have a token, but very likely Oogie's even going to have a sheepstick on top of that, which is how much he's been able to farm here. So it's 560 gold per minute, continuing to do a lot of work. As Midas is being a little bit of a distractor at the top lane, they want to try to kill him, but he's not going far enough forward to allow that to happen. So they may just have to dive this in the end if they actually want this kill.
Super KG can easily jump in if there's a Bishop on top of him, but I'm not quite sure if they spotted him. Oh, now they are going to do it. No? Still a little bit afraid. They are afraid.
Yeah. Tower diving, knowing what you're going up against, it's a little risky, so they decided to play
By the way,
the
no
safe game.
sheepstick.
Yep. That's ridiculous.
Frostwell Skull.
Oh.
I think that's alright.
Wait, he is going Frostwell Skull? Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's alright, seeing as SolC got a Nullstone already, and they don't really have any Nullstone cancelers on the Hellborn team. There's the Glacial Blast from Tempest, but he's not going to have time to use that in the middle of a team fight when he's busy using that Elemental Void, and Glacier is not really going to be able to get into position for that either, so I still think it's alright with Frostwell Skull. Even though Sheepstick probably would have been better on paper, this is at least going to help him transition better into the late game, I think. Make him a little bit more survivability-ish as well.
Now, Parasite, he actually does level up the Codex, by the way. It was at least level 2. It might have even been level 3, but looking at his items, I mean, yeah, that wouldn't be too surprising as they deny the top tower in the meantime. But yeah, I mean, that goes back to Masera and his choice and build here, you know, knowing that you're going up against honestly, what's kind of a team that's bulking up here quite a bit. Obviously, look at what Ogie's been to the table. I think that's fighting together, so does Codex necessarily make the most sense? I don't know.
I see the synergy, like we talked about, with the Hellhounds, but I mean, at this time, it's safe to say that strategy is not going to be successful, and therefore you should adapt as soon as possible. I mean, sooner is better than later, and eventually he's going to have to build into something else. And at this point, I mean, putting 1k gold into like getting additional 100 magic damage just doesn't feel like it's the best choice.
Mm-hmm. Again, the Shrunken Heads, those are the significant items really on the Legion side, and both Soul Stealer and Warbeast have them. Still no Mystic Vestments here. I mean, even with a Shrunken Head, you could argue that a Mystic Vestment is still pretty impactful, knowing that you're not always going to be able to get it off initially and in those situations. So, I mean, they don't have it, though. I'll continue to keep an eye on that because it just seems like it's pretty obvious. But middle lane, though, you see the push happening from Solaire Club. Team Grief, I guess, not too interested in defending, though. Instead, they're going to try to counter push here. And, I mean, that makes sense. Not the most.
I need to be careful for the initiation or for the counter initiation. And Behemoth has already set up, so he's going to stop the Legion push for now, at least. Just good heads up on his part. But yeah, if I were Legion, I wouldn't want to defend outside of the base because at this point you don't have any buybacks either on your team. So if you lose that team fight, then you give up the racks.
Soul Stealer does continue to actually farm pretty damn well. 500 gold per minute now. Looking out for him, but Ogie just doing that much better at 600 GPM. And yeah, I just saw that right there on Tempest. He actually goes the Alchemist Bones. So sure enough, once again, kind of counter that that Parasite here. Especially using those Hellhounds. So it's, you know, whether or not, again, what do you think? Is that worth the investment of it on Tempest especially?
I mean, I'm never really too much of a fan of that Alchemist Bones. I think I've stated that already in the previous series. Like when Bubbles picked it up, I mean, it's alright if you're farming really well and you pick it up early on, but I just don't see it as a priority, especially in this game as well. I mean, Parasite is not going to have much of an impact. he's not having that snowball effect. It would have been one thing if he was up at 400 GPM and, you know, taking over the game with puzzle box and all that kind of stuff. But in this game, he's not even going for the puzzle box. So, no, I don't like that. A barrier idol for his team would have secured them being able to push into the base even.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. It really is. It just seems almost like that they're in a routine of, you know what, a lot of people do this on the scene, let's just kind of follow that trend. But why? It's really not. It's not like this was always a thing. There's the longest time where this was never really a thing. And Alchemist falls against Parasite. But anyways, Rhapsody, he's going to be found and eventually killed off. He just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time right there. Midas finds Warbeast. Actually gets him to activate his ulti form right away, pops the shrunken head even. So, well, not the worst case there. I mean, got something out of it as he ports back to base and will survive, of course. But you can tell the Hellborn side Solera Club, they're looking for pickoffs. Not going to get any more in the end, though. Instead, we'll perhaps group up here and push. I mean, well, never mind. It's actually about to wear off. So.
Exactly. Oh, damn, I don't know. I mean, it's good that you get the Kongor, and of course, I mean, you're building towards that third Kongor kill with the bananas and all, and then it's going to be even greater, but I mean, especially when they had this group fight ability on their team, I really feel like if they just would have committed it, they could have broken that Rax already.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, I'm not going to take too much away from them, though. I mean, they've been playing really well this game.
Yeah. Well, we haven't seen a fight since the Shrunken Heads have been picked up, so that's going to be intriguing to see how much of an impact that really does have here for Team Grief. So
I'm going to say this. If Gauntlet finishes up that Hellflower before they take a fight, then I would be a little bit scared if I were Hellborn, because if they get a jump on you, I mean, Hellborn team is obviously going to be the one that has to try to break the Legion base, because Legion is not going to go on the offensive for quite some time. And it's just going to be so troublesome without a BKB onto the Tempest. They just have to ignore the Oogie. I don't think he deals that much damage. They don't have too much lockdown in their team without Elemental Void, so team fight wise, I mean, as long as you cancel the Tempest Elemental Void, I still think like they're in a really good shape. But there we go, once again, another Codex on Parasite. Please stop.
Just the pain, it hurts. Yeah, he's pretty committed to this. I think you're right though. He went level 1. He figures, you know what, I might as well continue this because I'm doing it. So yeah, it almost seems like I'm 2,000 gold right now. That's in essence been wasted, but he clearly is going to keep committing to it. Gauntlet, by the way, did a pretty good job of creep skipping right there, but Soul Stealer, he gets caught. Hard to use your Shrunken Head when you got that much lockdown initially, and that goes back to the argument of a Mystic Vestment. Now, I'm not saying that would have survived there if he had it, but that's the idea, though, that you're not always going to be able to use that Shrunken Head in these fights, so reducing as much damage as possible might be pretty impactful. But at the same time, a great find by Solera Club. And a kill like that could mean more than just the kill.
Oh yeah. Here's the thing with Soulster as well. Even though he got a buyback, he's not going to spawn with full charges on his souls. So his ultimate's not going to be nearly as impactful as it could have been.
Good point. Yeah, he's one of the worst buyback heroes in the game for that reason right there. So he's not going to end up buying back in the end. It's Frostfield plate, by the way, purchased by Oogie. So now even if Soul Stealer manages to get some decent right click, it's going to be mitigated pretty heavily here.
Oogie is going to be able to 1 versus 5 this Legion team at this point. I don't see them stopping him.
Yeah.
Not with the backup that he has either. Like Tempest, Behemoth, there's so many heroes that the Legion team really needs to focus on shutting down in the team fight. So Oogie is just going to be able to do whatever. They can't kill him at any point. I mean, they're just going to have to kite him down or kite him around and try to pick up his teammates. But at this point, I mean, they really don't have the luxury to do so, being 10k gold behind.
Mm-hmm. See Gauntlet scouting around. Obviously, Hellflower still in the works, but not having it just yet. Try to get a find right there, but Oogie falls back before any chance even happens. But as you pointed out, even if you can find Oogie by himself, you don't necessarily think you have a free kill, because 2,800 life, 29.8 armor right now. He's mitigating quite a bit. I would not be surprised to see like a Shrunken Head on him, honestly. Or, you know, something like the Sheep Stick route. We'll see what direction he goes. Top lane, Parasite and Gauntlet, well, they come together and take out Behemoth, who was for some reason by himself when the team was pushing mid. You know, really just pushing out the lane. I guess it's not that crazy. But good pickup nonetheless from Team Grief. So Solera Club, I would think waiting for another Kongor here probably makes the most sense, and then working off of that, of course.
Yeah, definitely. Tempest is closing in on that BKB timing as well if he chooses to go so. The barrier idol is definitely too late now.
Yeah, the Shrunken Head is... You talked about it, I mean, Parasite and Gauntlet, right? Yeah, Gauntlet can stop it as well, so they do have a couple of options that could still go through it.
Yeah. Gauntlet is going to be an initiator though, and seeing as Parasite doesn't have a portal key, it's not going to matter too much, as long as he places it correct. So at this point, I mean, still if he gets a BKB, it's still going to matter quite a bit.
True. Brutalizer being worked on by Labyrinth, so he's trying to help with that perhaps lack of damage here on the Legion's side. No doubt that would. Again, the Shrunken Head, the big one on top of that. And still curious what Haxorn's going to ultimately follow this up with. A very defensive style that he's built with. 3,100 gold saved up.
Stick onto Midas. Wow.
On him,
That's
yeah.
a big one.
Yeah, we're talking about Oogie when he's possibly going to go next. But yeah, the Sheepstick on Midas big. Yeah, 14 charges on the icon, by the way, for Oogie, too. Worth pointing out.
That's quite significant, yeah.
So they're going to keep them occupied in the middle once again, but Kongor is now back up. You can tell, though, again, Team Karif, they're doing a pretty good job here of not letting them freely push in the base by any means, keep them distracted elsewhere. As I say that, though, big Fissure stun. I don't think he realized how big that was. He also stopped the TP from Parasite. Orbeez going to get out of there, but Parasite's like, I got to fight. That's not going to work, though. Midas comes in. Sheepstick goes out. Transmute proc. And, oh my god, he infests the creep at the last second. That was funky. He does fall, though, still, in the end. So, yeah, that was a good stop there from Behemoth. Manages to get another kill out of it.
Was.
Kongor? Maybe? Yeah. Might as well.
Indeed.
Into the Kongor pit they go.
Tempest now got 4k gold, so if he were to go for that BKB route, then he has the money to do so now. And I don't really see any reason for why he shouldn't.
Let's go straight resto. I mean, did you see that instead?
No, not necessarily. I feel like if he gets one good elemental void off, then that's going to be more than enough.
Yeah.
I mean, Restoration Stone is good, but I still wouldn't like favor it over the Shrunken Head by any means. Not only is it a lot. Oh wait, Null Stone.
Huh.
All right. Yeah, good. Yeah, good choice. Looking at the board, there's not too much AoE stones here.
That's true, actually. Yeah, yeah, I like it. That does make actually some good sense. A Noob McNoob, think.
Yeah, definitely props for that.
Doing a pretty solid choice there. Again, they have cancel. They have like elite. Like we understand that, but it's the idea that Shrunken Head wouldn't necessarily accomplish much more in the end, really, because they would still have the stoppers anyway. So yeah, I can see the no stone. Why he decided that in the end.
Hellfire finish on Gauntlet now as well, if he chooses to pick it up, and maybe not. Maybe he wants to save for the buyback instead. But I feel like they almost need to go all in at this point.
Ooh, that hook was close. Almost got Hoogie. That could have been something, but just out of range.
I mean, they still couldn't have been able to do anything versus him. He would have just been running out again, I think.
Hey, giving them hope.
Okay, yeah, good point.
Orbeez pushing top in the meantime. He has enough for the Brutalizer now if he falls back here. But they're still knocking on the door, of course. This Solaire Club, in fact, Midas wants to go in, jumps on the golem right there, Behemoth on the shockwave in the background. SolC gets pulled in and immediately killed after. He has 5,000 gold, by the way. He's not buying back just yet. Oh, well, there you go. He does buy back. Orbeez comes in, but with Gauntlet and Rhapsody still dead, Gauntlet does have a buyback. I believe that would be his final buyback, though. No, never mind. He didn't buy back earlier. But anyways, so it's like, yeah, they're not really coordinating the most right here. Why would you buy back a one, not the other? Gauntlet does buy back, eventually pulls him in, so here they're going to get a chance with this, but as you were pointing out, they're just way too scared, even as far into the base they are, to chase him down. Solvers goes off right there. They didn't kill Behemoth in the background, by the way. Tempest goes down, so maybe there is something right now for Team Grief, as Midas, though, collapses on Associate, gets the quick kill on him shortly after. He does have a second buyback if he wants to. Protectability, it saves Warbeast, but only for a fraction of a second. He goes down, Rhapsody's dead, and you look at Oogie. He survived the whole time. Vote to concede even comes out, and I don't blame them. GG, well played. Solaire Club will take game one over Team Grief. That Oogie.
That Oogie indeed. Entire Solera club I'm so impressed by how well they were. I mean, everything, coordination, the early rotations, everything executing the draft to perfection. I'm not sure if it's because of all the training they've had versus Sync,
Yeah.
being playing them for the first two qualifiers, the World versus Sync, and now in the Dead Eye Bounty League. I mean, definitely some good practice for them, but I mean, as a team, they definitely come through it in this game number 1 here from Team Grief, and wow, yeah, just surprised me big time by how well they played.
What a difference in series. I mean, again, nothing against the teams that we just got to before this, but you're so right, though. The Solera Club, that was just a beautiful game by them. They really did play that very well. It's hard to really pick out many, if any, mistakes that were really blatant there on their side. And I mean, Solera, or Team Grief on the other side, I mean, sure, they weren't playing 100% their game either, but, you know, they still weren't playing horrible necessarily. It's just Solera Club. They just they worked with their lineup, and they made it work in the end as far as the victory goes. So, yeah, just, again, all around just solid play on their part, and clearly Team Grief, well, they got a challenge here. They got a challenge.